So in this case, we have a gap that's lower, right? We're anticipating sell side is to draw on liquidity, but this gap is the first target. So when you want to see speed, most times it's going to come when price is efficiently delivered. Now that means there can be gaps, but the gaps you want to see work through with both buying and selling, or it's just very efficient delivery of price. Like in here, if you were to reverse, the only thing that I'm really seeing as a impediment of price just expanding upwards would be this gap here, right? We don't have clear buying and selling through this gap. But after this, like if you were to draw a line here, let me move this to here. After this, no inefficiency in here, no inefficiency in here, no inefficiency, no inefficiency. Now between this high and this high, we don't really see any inefficiencies in here. Or we see a tiny one maybe right there, but it's so tiny that I wouldn't expect price to, do anything more than a wick up and down. But, if we were to reverse, that's the kind of speed you would like to see. There's no inefficiencies we got to fill. So yeah, that's what you can use within a model, they're especially useful for market maker models. So if you look back at pictures, a lot of times when price is starting to expand in the direction, you'll kind of see like these random just retracements. Like you'll get speed, like quickly you'll get speed, and then it'll just randomly near the top of the buy side, it'll just randomly do like a 1 wick down or a couple wicks down retrace. Looks like it's kind of slowing down, but instead it's filling a gap on the left side on the lower time frames that was not efficiently delivered, because you need both buying and selling within that range, right? Tracing down into it and then quickly finding speed off of that. Sell side already prior to equities open. So, that is something to be mindful of. And yeah, those relative equal highs failing to get up here with the open is still a concern to me, and I want to see that 15-minute gap. Let me actually mark this out. This 15-minute gap up here still left unfilled. So let's see. So filling this gap right in there. If you can close all the way above it, then look for speed above that gap. So tapped into a discount PD array after sweeping sell stops. Watch this candle right here, the 959. If we fail to close below, then pretty bullish indication, right? Immediate rebalance potentially. So watch that candle. Tapped into it, rejecting off. See where the closing price is. But for the most part, this last down closing candle for the move up is holding. I feel comfortable going for the buy side now. So look for AM high potentially, as well as the 1614. Especially if you can close above this bisi, the sibi. If you close above it, I would like to see speed, probably through this high. Might be a tiny inefficiency there on the 2 or something. Nope, looks pretty efficiently delivered there. Yeah, so if we can get above this sibi, should see speed. So put a tiny demo on there. Put the stop loss to the low of this candle where we tap the order block. And then 20 points. Nice expansion up, so I'm expecting just kind of quick acceleration. Nice quick acceleration. Look at that speed. Can even move this stop really to break even. Super close to that 20 points, and there's your 20 points within what, 2 candles? So if I turn on the execution labels, you'll see, and we should continue to run up for that high there. But pretty easy stuff, right? 2 candles entered there, and there's your buy side basically ran through. That could be another partial, 1614 could be another partial, and if you're really aggressive, looking for a full fill potentially of this gap, you could use consequent encroachment of that gap. So if I split this in half, so if I drop it down to here, right around 23. Also why time's important, right? You see this basically from 10:10 to 10:30, nothing in here. The algorithm will wait for time to do its chores. And you can see we're trading all the way past that order block. So to me, that's should see speed if you want to continue. There's no inefficiencies in here. Look for speed. So we're still watching 16014, this gap up here. And then if you're really bullish, 16024. See the speed all the way through, right? No imbalance. Should see speed up through that high too, all the way to 1614. Tiny imbalance, probably on 1 minute we're filling. Next candle though should pop all the way through. There we go. So there's your high and 16024.25, almost to the tick. You can kind of see how these price runs are not as surprising. Sometimes you would see these large runs up and you would think it's just, the algorithm's trying to get there quickly. But instead, I mean, yeah, that's true. Algorithm is trying to get there quickly. But the reason is there's no inefficiencies that are left over where price needs to stop. Inefficiencies, think of inefficiencies as speed bumps. If there's no speed bumps, it's just going to fly. We have no inefficiencies besides this tiny one right over here, which I mentioned, right? It was, if you remember earlier in the stream, there's a tiny one here that I was saying, okay, it's so small that we probably should just ran all the way through it. This super tiny one. There's a little portion right here, so you're expecting to see at least a wick, and you got a wick. See how it stopped right there when they came back? Filled it again, efficiently delivered that tiny imbalance, and then we flew. Nothing in here is random. Once you see it, you really can't unsee it, right? As all those Twitter gurus say. And flying up all the way to the premium end.